Hello, how's it going, everybody? Nice to see you. This is just a quick live stream here with just me in the garden. I turned off the lights so that it is not so bright, but you can see there's stuff behind me. Welcome, how are you all doing tonight? It looks like there's some people here. So exciting. Hi, Nate, how are you doing? Prepping by Faith, good to see you. Prepper Dog, thanks for stopping by. I got a notification for one of your videos just before going in here, so I will definitely check up on that after this is done. Arc Wildman Survival, good to see you. Prepper 101, nice to see you again. And Mr. McBean, I see you there. Hello, Uncle Al. And who else is here? Frank is here. Homestead Aquarius. Who is not aware of our name change. Yes, we used to be Van City Prepper, but we're in a different location now, and the name wasn't fitting anymore. And we are in a northern location. We are at our Bug Out Homestead. Blue Vandal, good to see you. So I'm just wondering, how are you all doing? Hi, Mrs. Dog. So nice to see you. I always say hello to Mrs. Dog and appreciate the hello back in the comment section of Prepper Dog's channel. Oh, hello, Fitz Hayashida. Good to see you from the Lower Mainland, I believe. So what are you guys all up to tonight? I just thought I would stop in here, say hello, see who's out there, and say yes, hi, Prepping by Faith, Merry Christmas to you too. And just sort of see who's around, say hello, and maybe talk a little bit about this garden that we have here. I think we're about 54 days into this garden. So you can see the stuff behind me, the seeds were put in that many days ago. So we have had a lot of progress. The beans that are back here are starting to form beans. And Uncle Al had said, we'll see how it goes if the temperature and moisture is correct enough to grow the vegetables. But the beans are there, they're just really small, and hopefully in about a week and a half we'll be able to harvest them. Hello, Rural Prepper, good to see you. It says you said you're new. Well, welcome. It's nice to see you in the chat. There's some great folks in here. Virginia Bushcrafter, I enjoyed your live stream the other day. I listened to it hands-free while I was driving. It was playing in my stereo. And broad beans. No, just a bunch of regular green beans here. And so back here is some bush beans. Then I've just planted right behind me, I've planted some spinach. It's a Bloomsdale spinach. I harvested the seeds outside and they've sprouted no problem. These seeds I'm using here are actually from 2021. So they are a year and a half old and they're doing just great. And they are sprouting very well. So the Virginia Bushcrafter is saying hello to Prepping by Faith and Arc Wildman. And who else is in here? Prepper Dog has acknowledged that Mrs. Dog is here. That's cool. So what are you guys all up to for your winter preps? I have a whole bunch of lemons in the dehydrator again because they're just great to have. I love throwing one lemon in a cup of tea. Thank you, Uncle Al, for mentioning that. What else do I have here? I've got dill seeds that I harvested from outside. Everybody knows that dill is super easy to harvest and super easy to grow. The only thing is it kind of takes over because the seeds get everywhere and then they propagate very easily. Uncle Al is saying, please leave a nice comment. Nice comments are good. Any comment is fine. Blue Vandal, indoor cucumber garden is underway. Trellis, nets galore. Oh, I'd love to see that. I will have to check out if have you posted anything about that and how are the cucumbers going? Also, are you doing the English style or the field cucumbers? I don't have any cucumbers at the moment, but I do have a lot of arugula. You just picked one. There is a ton of arugula. There's a ton of cilantro. The thyme has taken a long time. Where's CR? Are the puns? Yeah, the thyme has taken a while to get going, but it is going now. The dill has gone to flower, and I made a video that I put out yesterday about harvesting borage and making it into tea, and the borage is doing really amazing. I don't have the flowers, the beautiful blue flowers, but that's okay. It's just not there. This whole garden is less than 2 months old from seed. So you can see it is doing really well. Am I feeding my plants? Yes, I am, Uncle Al. I am feeding the plants. I'm not feeding the herb garden as much because I don't want to over nourish it, but I am growing, or I am feeding the tomatoes, the beans, the peas, all that kind of stuff. I'm being very selective. It sounds like there are folks in the chat that are experienced with growing indoors. Growing indoors is easy and difficult at the same time because without the sun and the wind, it's really hard to, well, it doesn't get rid of the water very easily. So you have to water it less, which is kind of nice. I have a fan right here, which is a key to this whole operation, is this fan. This fan is awesome. It can go wireless. It can go, I have it plugged in right now. The fan keeps the air turning over in here. It keeps the plants strong because they have to get a workout trying to keep themselves standing up from this fan. And I just noticed less disease, less issues with this fan on. And of course, the fan will help spread pollination around too, even though most of what I have here is self-pollinating, even though Uncle Al's telling me to pollinate it myself, which I sometimes do, but I try to let them do their own thing. Rural prepper, are you growing in soil or hydroponic? I am growing in soil. So I've got these big, I've got these big planters here, and there is about a foot of soil depth. And I like growing from soil. I find it's so easy. I just do exactly what I would do outside, but inside. Less bugs too. Yes, Uncle Al, less bugs. I have had 2 occasions of something that looks like aphids that I've had to take care of. So, I just got to be on it. I've got to be on it twice a day, at least checking things out. It's a sensitive environment, but it's a sensitive environment, but it's not that difficult. It's like a combination of being pretty easy, but having its own challenges that are, you're inside. So the light is coming directly from the top. So these are the lights that I'm using. And so it's getting one dose of light straight down, which of course is different than out in the nature or out in nature. Sorrel might be good indoor greens. Yeah, I don't do it, but I bet you it is good. Well, so anyone else doing an indoor garden or have any tips? I'm going to get a whole bunch more going. I've had more before, but the idea with this one was to really track its progress. So I made a video which was the first 30 days of this garden, which showed everything from planting the seeds to what sprouted first and what was, the easiest, what were some of the challenges. And now we are, at about day 54. These beans have already flowered and are starting to produce little tiny beans. So it's working. The peas are behaving very much like I have had them when they're outside. So it's going fairly well. The cilantro is doing really well. So one of the challenges was getting these lights to the right height because I was getting a few leggy seedlings at the beginning. And everything I adjusted the light height, and that seemed to solve the problem. but some of the stuff had already got leggy by that point. But I'll tell you, the barrage didn't. Uh, and the tomatoes are doing really, really well. The tomato plants are doing really well. I guess you can't see them because I'm actually in it. There is a row in front of me and a row behind me. So I am right in the middle of it. So it's hard to capture it all in the video. So I'm just sort of seeing. Yeah, so Homestead Aquarius was wondering about how we met, but yeah, we used to be the Vancy Prepper channel. We have changed our name. We put up a couple of indications of that, but we did definitely have some people who realized they were maybe subscribed to this other channel, and then they're like, I don't know who that channel is. So they left, but that's hopefully they'll find us again. Frank Short is in Panama City Beach, Florida. Hope everyone's staying warm tonight. I am wondering how people are doing in their locations with their climate and how things are going. We are at minus 38, minus 39 Fahrenheit with a wind chill of like minus 49. It's crazy. It's really cold. There is basically a mist. It's like we're in a cloud. It's like we're on another planet or a moon, I find. Aqua Run Girl, how are you? How is it going? I think you do some of this growing too, so I'd love to hear more about that. Fabian from Ottawa, how are you doing? How is your family? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. So this is an hour later than usual, so it's definitely pretty late on the East Coast. I hope everybody's feeling in good health and is feeling ready for the holiday season. And, you know, it's a fun time, but it can be a bit of a challenging time too. Um, so rural prepper, I am sort of set up. I actually got myself stationed in the center of this garden, but I do have a couple videos recently, if you are interested, with a proper tour of this growing space. Because basically we have the herb garden, which is under me on the front, and then behind me are those things I mentioned before. Some Swiss chard. I don't think I mentioned spinach, and rocket. Rocket is back there too. So, but I kind of set up myself so it's hard to move around. But if you are interested, there is a video that is called 30 Days from Seed to Plant. So from putting the seeds in all the way till they're being plants, and then there's been a few update videos since then, and I just wanted to show mostly how easy it is to have fresh greens in your house with not that much work. These lights are a little more sophisticated. These are the General Electric LEDs for greens. I've posted in one of my previous videos what they are. I'm not affiliated or anything, but just mentioning what they are. But I also have used other lights to do it, which are just off Amazon. It's like $30 for the set, and they had really, really good results. In fact, I'm going to get planting more things, and I'm going to use those lights because they're my backup lights. Oh yeah, thanks, Rural Prepper. It's just probably a better angle because we also built a platform, an even platform for the whole thing, and it shows that and stuff like that. Well, thanks, Uncle Al. You're so supportive. Prepping by faith. It will be minus 19 here in Colorado by 7 a.m. Definitely not used to that. River Runner, hey. Well, that's the thing. Prepping by faith. Like where we are is very dry, so yeah, the number is really low, but it's not too bad. And also the houses have really, really thick walls. But places that aren't built for those kinds of temperatures, I think they definitely are affected a lot more than other places. Thanks, Fabian. I am enjoying the garden. I have a lot of people like to grow microgreens. I have grown them, and I do grow them sometimes, but I'm scaling up for more volume. So like right now, it's hard to show you, but right now there is a patch of arugula that is this wide by, or sorry, that long by this wide, and it's all leafy arugula that I could make a salad out of it, no problem there. And there's rosemary, there's lavender. I can't even think of them all. I did some experiments. I ordered a quote, like easy to grow veggies, a pack of seeds off Amazon and put those in just to see how easy they are to grow. And then there's also some herbal tea packages from Amazon. I tried those as well. Yes, Arc Wildman. I bet it's nice and toasty in the greenhouse. Well, actually, I'm in down by your pantry, so this isn't a greenhouse. This is just part of our house. Hey, yep, that's me. Mine is 43 Celsius. Mine is 54 wind chill northwestern Alberta, northwestern Alberta, like Grand Prairie or south of where rough. Okay, you probably don't want to give your location, but because we're in northern BC, so I'd be interested in roughly where you're located in a general sense. That is cold. Wow. Acro Run Girl. I grow tiny cherry tomatoes and need to go to the basement when they need herbs, lettuce, and tomatoes. Fun and easy. Yes. Do you have a video about it? Because I'd love to see. I'm also noticing a bit of a cost savings growing stuff like this way because the lights cost so little to have on because they're LEDs. They don't use a lot of power. It says Vancouver is falling apart as usual. It's embarrassing. Yes, I've seen that and I've heard that Canada Post is not really operating. So speaking of tiny cherry tomatoes, I do know that the smaller the tomato, the easier they grow inside. So I do have small tomatoes growing as well. Aqua Run Girl, I use LED shop lights. Oh, rural prepper, Northern Saskatchewan. I've worked a ton in Northern Saskatchewan. I've like all over Northern Saskatchewan. I've worked many, many months up there in the summer and in the winter, all around all the uranium mines up there. I've walked a lot of that country. I'm aware of the bogs and the bugs and the bird, the yellow, what are they called? The yellow something birds. And another thing I know about Northern Saskatchewan is they have carnivorous plants, like little fly trap things. That's pretty cool. Beautiful area there. Saskatchewan is known for its beautiful skies and it doesn't disappoint. Oh, cool. Grand Prairie is 1 hour from me. Cool. Beautiful area. Fabian, my Swiss chard and Boston lettuce herbs are growing very well in my living room. Yeah, I would love to know like people's tips and tricks for indoor gardening. I've definitely watched quite a few videos about it. Um, things like the water doesn't really have anywhere to go, so I find that you water quite a bit less. I know a lot of people do hydroponics. I know Sassy Gal does. But yeah, I just use soil. But I do buy new soil for this. And I did have feedback in the videos that I mean, it's an organic soil, but that I should use a more natural soil than I'm using. But a little bit of it comes down to availability because we are in a smaller place and we don't have access to everything. And I needed many, many bags of it. So that's another factor. when people are selecting what they're using, you can order things, which you do with the seeds, but um, you can't order giant bags of soil that easily. Maybe you can, but when you've got so many other things on the go, how do you decide what to do? Oh, really? Rural prepper. My wife works as a cook helper in exploration mining in northern Saskatchewan. So I worked as an exploration geologist in northern Saskatchewan for a while, hunting for uranium. So I was in a lot of those camps. Oh, Aqua Run Girl, I find you need to use fans 24/7. You know, ever since I started having my fan on more, it is really improving things. And Fabian uses soil as well. Cool. Just one sec. One of the things I definitely think is that light is your biggest friend with growing indoors. The more light, the better. For the other people who grow inside, do you agree? Because um, light is what makes, I mean, obviously it makes it grow, but especially up here where we don't get a lot of daylight at this time of year, for example, at 9 a.m., it's still pitch black here pretty much. Well, the sun is slightly coming out, but we don't have all that many hours of light anyways, and something like a windowsill garden wouldn't work here. And light is what has given the biggest success in any of my indoor gardens. So, rural prepper, the cook is the most important job in these exploration mining camps because they are in charge of morale of everybody who's there, and I very much appreciate what an important job that is. Big B. The Salanova assortment comprises 5 different lettuce types: Butterhead, Oakleaf, Lolo, Crispy, and Batavia, in 2 colors, red and green. Salanova has 3 times more leaves than other lettuces. That's awesome. The other thing about growing indoors is you want to plant things high density, but you have to be ruthless and still pull away some of the seedlings so that things are well spaced. So I definitely find I space things closer together inside just to maximize that square footage. Salanova lettuce regrows after cutting. Yes, and that's the other thing. I like to have a few lettuces growing that I can cut some leaves off of, and it'll just continue to thrive. Arc Wildman likes the black seeded Samson lettuce. Cool. Yeah, so I've got Astro arugula seeds here. I find arugula grows so easily that I definitely plant quite a bit of it. Goofy Roofy. Yes, microgreens. I do microgreens. I don't have any in my recent videos, but I'm trying to grow like larger vegetables. But I'll probably put in another couple rounds of those. But that's cool that Curtis Stone is in Upper BC. See, that's smart. Aqua Run Girl tries to reseed lettuces every 2 weeks. That's the way to do it. I feel like I have a bit of a cough, but I haven't been on here lately and I just wanted to have a quick live stream. You can see in the background of this image that that's one of our outdoor gardens when we were down south, where we had all sorts of stuff going down there. We had We had all the brassicas. We had, well, the intro to this video, if anyone has been around this live stream long enough that they saw the intro, thanks. If you're still here, thank you. But those were all images from our different gardens that we've had. We grew eggplants and broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, many varieties of pumpkins. I like the Dill's Atlantic Giant pumpkins are my favorite. We had zucchinis and squash and raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, those white strawberries, and beans, peas, tomatoes, different colored peppers, um, tomatillos, and hot peppers, kale, you name it. Like if it grew in southern BC, we had corn. We had corn. We did have bear problems that would come in and rip up some of our crops. We had some pretty catastrophic damage to our corn and our pumpkins because of the bears. Thank you, Aqua Run Girl. You have a cool indoor setup. Yeah, eggplant is good. Thanks, Arkwildman. Thank you for sharing the lettuce stuff, the lettuce info in this live stream, and Frank Short didn't know that information, so also says thank you. What would be a good vegetable for someone to try for the first time? So, do we mean like inside or outside? And it also depends on region. So the fastest thing from start to finish for a product is known to be the radish. Yeah, there you go, Ark. Radish is easy. So in 3 weeks, you can go from a seed to having a radish, which is quite rewarding. Inside. So microgreens are rewarding. A lot of people do microgreens. It's easy. But like for me, I would do something like a lettuce or arugula. Radishes are fast for sure. Okay, so since there's so many garden-friendly people in here, the thing I think about radishes, this is my thoughts, is that in this space, like say I had a square foot, I'm going to use up for 3 weeks, I'm going to use that square foot for the radishes. They're quite sensitive to their surroundings, much like some people. And if they're too close together, they won't get plump. So you can only have so many radishes. And then you wait 3 weeks, and then you could basically get them all, and you can make a salad, and then they're done. Whereas if you have a bunch of the leafy lettuces, like have been suggested in this live stream, you can be pulling off leaves. You can put some in different sandwiches or salads and things like that, and they keep going and keep propagating. So I would probably do like a spinach or an arugula and have a patch of that, because it's quite rewarding. It really doesn't take long, because if you harvest it early, you just have baby arugula or baby red leaf lettuce or something. Otherwise, you harvest it all and then it's gone, and then you start from scratch. Where, yes, Uncle Al, the radish tops are edible, and it's part of our disposable society, right? Like, oh, we don't need these radish tops. But yeah, I definitely appreciate the radish tops. And yeah, Fabian, Swiss chard, lettuce are super easy. We have a short outdoor season here. Rural prepper, we're in the high 50s latitude, and I bet you are too. And we're just one province over. So we have a 90-day season here, which means we can have one crop of something. Whereas where we were down south, we could have 2 crops in a year. So 90 days is from start to finish isn't long. So you really got to be strategic with what a person is growing. And I think it's, there's a person can go the route that they want to make their own tea, because I made a video yesterday making my own barrage tea, which was really nice. The barrage is going crazy indoors. It gets so vibrant. There's just this huge leafy barrage that I only planted like 54 days ago, and it's just producing. And so you can definitely do something like that. Or mint, of course, mint's easy. Mint is like the easiest. So I think, but if it's from a prepper standpoint, I mean, we could honestly do sort of like a poll, but an informal poll. I would like to ask you guys, especially Uncle Al, because hey Vanessa Kitty, he's very knowledgeable. If you had to suggest one thing to grow in drawers from a preparedness standpoint, what would it be? And everything I'm growing in here right now is from a preparedness standpoint. But we grow a ton in the summer, and then we try to put back as much of that as we can. And so this is just to top up and just have some fresh greenery along the way, because a lot of people would say, "Oh, you can't live off the garden that you're showing." That's true, but we didn't set out to. But we can have fresh greens added to things, which is nice from a health standpoint, but it's also from a a mindset or just to feel good about life to have fresh greens, because yeah, it's minus 38 or something outside, but there's greenery behind me, and it's also fun. It's really fun. Okay, let's see. Sunchokes, cool. Sunchokes inside. Okay, there's been a couple big channels, I believe City Prepping and Popular Preparedness. Both have talked a lot about sunchokes. Well, Frank, thanks for stopping by. Have a good evening, and see you next time. Big B, dwarf blue kale. I like it. If you have animals, duckweed. All right. Goofy Roofy. See how well moringa would grow indoors for you. Okay. Uncle Al, pigweed. Oh, cool. Goofy Roofy grows barrage in the middle of tomato plants. Their big taproot helps feed the tomatoes. That's awesome. And I found kale. In my experience where I've been located, kale has been so easy, and it grows and grows and grows. It's hard to keep up with it. I've had way too much of it usually. So Fitz is saying, I've been focusing on things that aren't normally grown here. If the supply chain stops, I can still have these items. 5 types of citrus. That's cool. Ginger in pots. Awesome. Yeah, so you can see here's some cilantro. I just picked a little bit of cilantro. It looks really, really good. But yeah, it was getting leggy at the very, very beginning because we have a new light system, and I wasn't totally sure about the height of the new light system. And once I figured it, they started getting leggy, and I usually cut it off at that point because I want to deal with starting with a healthy plant, but I ended up catching it just before they got too bad, and they are just fine. They just they weren't getting quite enough light. Rural Prepper, thanks for the tips. Yeah, thanks everybody in chat for your ideas. It's very nice to talk to you all. Fabian, cilantro is my favorite herb. So do people When you dry your herbs, do you put them in a coffee grinder and grind them up really small, or maybe a pestle mortar, or do you just dry them and then use them in recipes, or just use them fresh? Like what do people do? I did grow mustard this year and made a bunch of mustard seed that I put away. I was planning to make mustard with the mustard seed. I also have a bunch of, I'm just looking at it over there, I've got a bunch of black tomato seeds. I'm going to get some of those going well. But really a lot of this was just an experiment to see how easy to grow the quote Amazon easy to grow seed varieties are. My seed company of choice is West Coast Seeds. That's usually what I use. Aqua Wine Girl. I use fresh and dry, but I only crush when ready to use. That's really smart. That's a good way to do it. Make sure your plants have movement from a fan. It will help with the legginess and root growth. Yes. So, Big B. This is the fan that I use. I like this fan. It can run on its own without power. It doesn't last all that long, but I have been running it a lot more. And yeah, it's just, I know there's a ton of gardeners in this chat, so this is not, they already know this, but if there's anyone out there who doesn't garden, when you don't have any wind on your plant, it makes sense that they're weak. They're weak. It's like a person who never exercises. They're just floppy. The plants are floppy. But when they have to work out because the wind's at them, I have a plant workout video on my shorts where they're dancing to the wind. They get super strong, and I've noticed even just I was using battery power just to sort of see how long it will go when it's recharged. But I've been keeping it plugged in and just having it on more, and I'm noticing a definite improvement in the strength of the plants. Hi, Jared 2.0. Homestead Aquarius. Yeah, making your own mustard. That's the goal. I have the seeds. I'm planning to do it. They grow in pods. And then you just dry out the pods and then the seeds are in those pods. Jared, hello from southern Alberta. Oh my gosh, there's other Albertans in this chat from an hour away from Grand Prairie. So without just saying your exact location, what part of southern Alberta roughly? Hi, Mr. McBean again. What did you miss? We're just talking about indoor gardening. So one question was if you could only grow one thing inside for a prepper mindset, what would it be? Or just generally, maybe it's the same, maybe it's different. So we're just kind of brainstorming stuff about indoor gardening. So this system, if you could call it a system, is attached to the backup house generator so that if we have power problems, we can switch it over on a panel so that the lights are still running. We have made a video showing how we have a generator that runs the whole house because we have a panel that you can hook it into. Jared, I live straight east of Calgary, right on the Alberta-Saskatchewan border in no man's land. You're a farmer, cool. What do you farm over there? I've been to that area. I lived in Alberta a lot. I used to work on the oil rigs in Alberta. Yes, we are up in northern BC. We used to be down south, and we've been up here before, and we're back up here now. Off the Alaska Highway. So yes, a fan is key. A fan and good light. A fan, good light, dirt, seeds, and water is all it takes to grow indoors. Aqua One Girl would grow eggplant if I could only grow one thing. Takes a few months, but quite resilient plant. Yeah, very rewarding plant. There were some eggplants in the intro to this video that I showed. I really love growing eggplant. I definitely do. But what is the easiest thing to grow? I wouldn't say, radishes are the fastest thing to grow, but I wouldn't say they're the easiest thing to grow because has anybody had the experience where they're all tops? They're all tops and no bottoms. There's lots and lots of reasons why that can happen, but I've had it happen a few times. Like they don't like fertilizer, so if they get some of that, then it's not good. Or if they're too close together, or there's all sorts of reasons. Sugar in the Attic Homestead was also listing me reasons, telling me reasons why you get all tops. Rural prepper can't go wrong with potatoes. Good point. Yeah, carrots. Haven't been successful with carrots. Yeah, carrots can be tricky. And they always say like don't start them inside and move them. Don't transplant carrots. Don't try not to transplant any of the root vegetables. But I'm sure we've all done it and it works. Sometimes you just really don't want to disrupt the roots. So if you can plant them outside to start, that's great. Oh, wow, Jared, that's too nice. Yeah, I just was listening to Canadian preppers. I mean, he had one tonight about the stuff that's happening with Ukraine and Zelensky and all that stuff. Fabian, yes, all tops and no bottoms if not enough space. Did anybody, when they started gardening, not want to prune or to throw away seedlings? Has anyone else been there where you've got to be ruthless with those seedlings and just, hey, you're not looking good, out of here. You got to be ruthless with them. But it's hard to do because you can't save them all. Big B, I've been meaning to get my indoor stuff going. Got my seeds out and plastic cups filled with dirt. Nice. Nice. Did you already say what you're going to grow in there? I don't know if you did, but I'd love to know. Jared, too. Nate is a smart guy. He's very knowledgeable, but his channel gives me severe anxiety. I don't know. I think trying to prepare for things should help reduce anxiety. I know sometimes he says that he really hits the point home just to motivate people, but I don't know. Everyone takes the information differently, I guess. Nate, I have lots of rocks for the desert. So, because Nate, you are in New Mexico. Am I right? Quinton, I live in Georgia. So does Prepper Dog. We grow outside all winter long. Garlic and carrots, loving this Arctic blast. One food, that's a tough one. Maybe sweet potatoes. Yeah. Well, actually, that's the thing. A lot of preparedness-minded individuals would definitely say potatoes. I still have this fan in my hand, so I'm just gonna. I love the fan, but not that much. Not that much. Arc Wildman, yes, carrots take time to germinate. That's the thing. That's the thing. If anybody is new, which I don't think there's anyone in here that's new at it, but read that germination time on stuff. I believe parsley takes forever too. Like lavender takes forever, which is totally fine. But only if you want to wait that long. Some stuff takes 3 or 4 days um, and then it germinates and you have a little sprout. So that's something to consider. Jared 2.0, did you guys up there touch -50? We were -48 on Monday. Oh gosh. It feels like -49 yesterday, but it was officially -38 or something. And the other half of this channel, Mr. Alp, just flew across the Canadian prairies in and had to not dodge, but like saw quite a bit of weather on the way over. And I did post some videos of his journey that anyone might want to see. They're on the shorts. You can see there was some Saskatchewan imagery, and yeah, he went Ontario, Manitoba. Well, you know what the provinces are. He went from Ontario to Alberta in a couple days. So there was some footage posted along the way of the winter scenery. Aqua Run Girl. The first year I kept all my 110 tomato seedlings. So much work I couldn't get rid of it. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's hard. It's hard to pick the weak ones and get rid of them. It's definitely hard. It's hard. Kill it! How's it going, Kill it? Thanks for being so supportive. Kill it from Nebraska. Good to see you. Big B, broccoli, cilantro, lettuce, dwarf blue kale, arugula, spinach, and red Russian kale. So all the broccoli growers out there, do you get the cabbage worms in your broccoli? Because the regions where I have been living, you really need a net or to cover them, because there is a lot of cabbage worm problems, and they are a force to be reckoned with. They're just so big. Fabian, I understand what you mean about seedlings, but we have to be ruthless. And sometimes I'm not. It's hard. It's hard to just chuck them all out. Oh, Jared, I'm going to start a little garden this spring. Brought a seed variety pack off Amazon. Awesome. And you can start now, and then you can get, certain things can move outside. Why not start now? Chief Prepper, stay warm. No frosties allowed. Good to see you. Kill it. 60 mph winds. -54 wind chill. No way. That's crazy. Jared, love the channel. Keep up the good work. Have a good night. Thank you. You have a good night as well. Thank you for stopping by. Fabian, yes, I get cabbage worms, and they're not nice. They are gross, yes. Broccoli Rob is mostly stalk with a smaller flower. Okay. Yeah, so some people grow broccoli and haven't heard of cabbage worms. Of course, there are some regions that don't really get them as much, but I think some people maybe just don't know that they're in there. And that is a scary thing, because I've tried a lot of the home remedies to get rid of them, where they tell you to soak it in certain water and then use water with baking soda and stuff, and then the cabbage worms will jump ship and leave. And no, it doesn't really work, because there's so much air. There's so many air pockets in the head of broccoli that they just hang out in there for as long as it takes. Has anyone else had that experience? If you know, you know, right? Okay, thank you, Big B. They're good sauteed like asparagus. Good to know. Yes, Aquaman, they would be. Because they're that big, and they are the same color as the broccoli. They're just not nice. Anyways, I'm definitely not going to take up too much of your time more than I already have, Uncle Al eats them. You know what? I'm sure there's lots of people out there who'd want us to eat them. It's part of, they'd encourage us to eat them. And I'm sure during SHTF people would eat them. It's very, I guess it's just easy times that people even can worry about them. But I just am more fascinated by them than anything. They're just so big. Yeah, if you're close to farmland, the pests from the crops can destroy your garden. Yeah, for sure. There's so many things a person has to face when they're trying to grow stuff. Um, Deer were a huge issue where we were before. There's big deer here now, but we're in a lot of space and they do come through. But we've got a dog that will scare them away. Yes, extra protein. Well, anyways, thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone taking your time and hanging out. Thanks to the mods, Nate, Uncle Al, and Arkwell Man, and Prepping by Faith, Prepper Dog, and others. I do appreciate all of you. And if there's anybody who's new, who's interested in this topic of indoor gardening, or you're just so experienced that you want to share some of your ideas with me. I am really not trying to get you to watch my videos, but there's a couple little short ones where I show more of what I've done. So I'd love your feedback on that. So some of them are shorts, like under a minute, if you want to see a wider view than what you can see behind me. Fabian, when I was in the Amazon jungle, we ate all kinds of stuff. Yeah, I bet you did. I bet you did. It's crazy. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot. Take care of yourselves. I'll be looking for your videos to those of you who have channels, and I will talk to you next time. Bye for now. Have a good night.